Okay, Zoomer. Oh, yep, it's in here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's in here too. What's in here? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. It's week 1. It's in the books. I just finished week 1 of Zoom University, and let me say, it zoomed by. Yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to these next 9 weeks. How was that only 1 week? Anyways, because this was a new experience, I decided to document my learnings on my cellular device. Yeah. I've lost so much motivation. So let me take you through my notes, and I'll just tell you what I learned of week 1 at Zoom University. There is absolutely no prep for this video. I just have a notes page that's titled Zoom, which you probably can't see because glare is a thing. So let's get started. Even if a class has 250 plus people, it's still like the same 7 to 10 people that talk and chat. There is a loud minority, let me tell you what. And I don't just mean it's me talking at higher decibels. I mean there's a few people that are doing a lot of the talking. And it's so funny because I watch chat and I'm like, wow, these are like the same 8 people talking. This class is probably what, like 30 people? And then I click on participants and I'm like, oh, we all don't want to talk. And we're all okay just letting these 8 people do all the talking. And so far, it's worked out. The minority knows best. Which, if there was a motto for my childhood, it would be that. I've noticed students are much more open with their compliments. I know in real life it's hard to get a compliment in the middle of lecture because that would require the teacher to be teaching and then you just interrupting them. Like your teacher's just up there, doodling or whatever they do. And then you're just in the middle of class and you just go, hey, that was a nice summary that you just gave. Yeah, it doesn't really work in real life, but it works perfectly on Zoom. And a couple of the things people were saying was, nice analogy, nice summary, I really like how you explained that. It's cool to see a professor still taking the time to really teach the theory of the course. And I was like, well, theory doesn't help me with homework, so let's not hype them up too much, okay? Of course I didn't say that, because I'm not one of the 8 people that talk and chat. Kind of going hand in hand with open compliments, people are brutally honest. Because that real life aspect is gone, people are much more open to saying shitty things. I saw one person tell another classmate, hey, can you turn off your Zoom background? It's pretty annoying. Homie was just on a beach. He wasn't doing anything bad. I've seen way worse. Like my Zoom background isn't even a background. There's just a giant banner in the back from my high school. And the worst part is that's my background. The foreground, that's me. It's even worse. I've also seen a student just straight up tell the professor, hey, could you do us a favor and maybe be a little louder? I don't know if that's the way they intended for it to be said because, text is a whole different thing than real life talking, but I read it that way, and it was very funny to me. Students just openly compare professors to their other professors. One of my professors was going over the syllabus, and as they were going through it, a student just said, hey, this is how my other professor does it, and it's a much better way to do it. Dude, don't... God, these teachers are trying their best. Well, actually, I could say otherwise for a certain person. No, but these teachers are trying their best. We're in troubled times, people. And this student just had the gall, the absolute nards to say, hey, my other professor does it better. So, people don't understand mic levels. A lot of people just use the default mic and it works fine. But I've seen some people have their own mic, like a whole external microphone. And so sometimes when they have that microphone, it's either just so loud. Like we got dudes this close to their mic, But then there's also people that are so quiet. I was in a class and we were doing introductions. And everyone was kind of starting their introduction by saying, hi, can you guys hear me? And the teacher would always respond and she would be like, yep, you're good. We're good. But there was this one girl and she did it. She had AirPods in. She was like, can you guys hear me? Is it coming through? And I was like, oh, this is perfect. The professor is giving feedback. We're asking. The professor is going to tell this girl, no, we can't hear you because we couldn't. And then the professor continues on and says, yep, we can hear you. I was like, what? Who's we? I know I'm not in that we because I can't hear shit. It's funny though, because when you give your introduction, the professor likes to restate a part of it to kind of show that she was listening. Like I'll say, hi, my name is Gauruv Virk, third year electrical engineering major. And then she'll say something like, oh, engineering, that's tough, isn't it? And I'll be like, yep. Thanks for listening. And I could tell you're listening because you restated a part of my answer. But when this very quiet girl gave her introduction, the professor did not restate a single part of her answer. She was just kind of like, that's nice. Who's next? Sometimes you can hear how someone looks. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone uses their webcam. Like, I don't use my webcam because I'm gorgeous, so I don't want to distract the class. And so sometimes when someone unmutes their mic to ask a question and you hear their voice, you're immediately like, oh, you know what? I can't see you, but your voice is giving me a really good idea. Some professors should never become live streamers. Professors are trying their best. I get that. But that's how you start everything bad. You compliment them and you go, but it's like, Susie's great, but I'm also going to rip into her in a very personal way. Professors are trying their best. But sometimes when some of them teach, they try to read the chat at the same time. And in this, the mouth, you know the one, it just stops working. Okay, let's give an example. A professor will be teaching and then he gets a question in the chat and he'll do this. All right, is it making sense so far, everyone? Why did I use the quadratic formula? Very good question. Very good question. I used the quadratic formula because I thought it'd be a good idea to sorry, I was reading chat. I used the sorry, actually, I know there was a quadratic formula in the question. What was the question though? And so if a professor like that was to become a live streamer, they would never complete any level of any video game ever. Because the whole time they would be like, why did I use the red berry to craft that? Oh, yeah, good question, good question. The reason I used the red berry to craft that is because, oh, why didn't I use a yellow berry? That's a good point, yeah. And now I forgot the first question. Now, instead of feeling like no one's showing up to class, you can see that no one's showing up to class. On the first day of my math class, there were 260 of us. On the second day of my math class, there were 220 of us. Third day of math class, 180. You know when you show up to lecture and you can kind of feel like there's less people in the room, but you never really know? Well, with Zoom, you know, it says it on the screen. I've never been more excited about someone opening a Cheez-It box. I was in a discussion of about 15 people and our TA had all of us turn our webcams on. Except for one guy because he claimed he couldn't do that this week. I thought it was funny that it specified this week because he was like, next week, don't worry, I got you. But this week, oh, no, I can't do that. I don't know. Personal things. He's probably justified. I'm being an asshole. And because this TA had all of us turn our cameras on, you could see people. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said. Their cameras are on so you could see them. Wow, okay. What? Obviously, you idiot. And so in the middle of our discussion, one of the gentlemen in our discussion, a student, reaches over and grabs a box of Cheez-Its. These are Pokemon cards. I don't have Cheez-Its. And he just opens them and he just starts eating them. Just eating these Cheez-Its. Just in the middle of our discussion. And he also had one of those mics that's gain was just too high. So you would just hear this. It's easier to notice a teacher's favorite words or phrases. I don't know why I've never noticed this in real life. I don't know if it's just easier on Zoom or what's up, but I notice when I listen to teachers on Zoom, I notice when they use the same words or phrases. Like my math teacher has an affinity for the word flippant, and I notice that because he makes a lot of flippant remarks, which is a very cute play on words. Also, whenever a student asks him a question and they try to work through it with him, and you don't get a part right, he'll go, you sure? And in one of the office hours I went to, he hit a girl with, you sure? And I felt destroyed for her. I felt so terrible because then the next like 10 seconds is just her essentially doggy paddling her way through the question because she has no idea what she's doing. That's like you're drowning on the side of a boat and he's just like on the boat with a flotation device. And he's just like, do you know how to get this flotation device? And when you're drowning, nothing makes sense. So you just say, I don't know, just give it to me. I don't know. And he's just up there with the flotation device. And he's like, you sure? And then you drown. Everyone's got to move. When webcams are on, I feel like everyone's got a go-to move. Some people do crossed arms. That's a move. Some people do the hand on the side of the face. This is a move. Some adventurous people, I would imagine, maybe hit them with this. I don't know. This could be a move. A lot of moves. A lot of moves. But I know what my move is. Are you ready? It's kind of a special move, and feel free to implement it if you want. It is this. What do you think? I keep my mouth covered, and that's the whole move. Yeah. And then if someone says something like funny in class or whatever, I'll remove my hand temporarily like this. Yeah. And then I'm right back in it. So yes, those are the observations I've made in week 1 at Zoom University. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And to end the video, I want to read you one of my favorite comments I saw in chat this week. It was in my math class. My math professor has this really cool math clock that sits like right behind him. You've probably seen it before. It's one of these bad boys. And at the very end of our first lecture, someone in chat typed, "Is that clock broken? Been wondering that for about 20 minutes. All right, peace people. Okay, never done that on video. Good luck with school, okay?
You know what's up?